So let's take a look in this video where we can take this arrangement. And a great trick to use in epic hero themes is to modulate the chords up. This will sort of give an uplifting feeling in the track and just push that track a bit more and give it some more pace. So let's test this out. Let's take the chord progression and shift it up by about semi-4 tones. I'll use this strings ensemble. Let's select that. Let's move it about over here. So we'll give ourselves 2 bars to work with to create a movement up to that new modulation. And let's just open up the MIDI. So here's the MIDI notes for this chord progression. Just select them all and move them up 4 semitones. So you've got this. And it's going to modulate up 4 semitones to this now. So you can already start hearing where this is going to go. So let's go through the rest of these tracks and shift them up as well. I'll take all these strings, move them across, open them all up in the MIDI editor, select all the notes, and shift them up 4 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next onto the brass, select all of that and move that over as well. Go into the MIDI editor again, select them all and up 4 semitones. What else have we got? Right at the top here, we've got the percussion. And the percussion, it isn't pitched instruments except for the timps. So let's select all of these MIDI regions here. Those will be exactly the same. And the snares. Now with the timps, copy these across. And also shift these up 4 semitones. So if everything works out correctly, we'll have this for the first part. Just those drums are a bit late there. Just move that in. Just double check all the timings are correct. And then this for the second part. That's pretty cool. But now the big trick is how are we going to move from the first part, which is in the A minor key, and then going up into the next part, which is up 4 semitones. Well, I've got a little idea. I'm going to use some short notes and do a part that's just going to go dun, 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 dun. Sort of chromatic movement that's going to move up chromatically to hit into that 4 semitones. So let's first test this out with some of the brass instruments, and then we'll orchestrate out the rest of the instruments for this build up into the new key change. Starting off with the trumpets, I'm just going to select both of these parts and glue them together. Then in the MIDI note data, I want to take out that note just before it gets into bar 26. So that's going to give us this area to work with. And take this note as well. Cool, so let's try this idea out. I'm just going to select my left and right locators where I want to record the MIDI part in. And on the trumpet, it's going to be this. Let's try the part out and see what it sounds like. This part was recorded in a bit rough. Let's go in and fix it. And then let's just check out these notes. I think they're a bit early. This should be here. Now I think these are triplet notes actually. I'm just going to change the grid to triplets and change the quantization to triplets as well. It's going to be like this. That's it. That's good. I think that's working. Now on to the rest of the sections. I'm going to glue them together as well. And just to quickly speed up through the process, let's just select those notes. Increase their velocity. Jump across to these 6 horns. Let's just go back to make sure you copied those. Then it's the next MIDI part, paste them. Then on to the trombones. And these can be shifted down an octave. Copy those. And then the sim basso can be the same notes as the trombones as well. Then for the short staccato brass bits, these are going to be octave notes. So let's just copy first this and then shift this down an octave and up an octave. So it'll sound like this. That's awesome. So together we got this. Getting there. Now, next, let's take a look at the percussion, because that's going to follow suit as well by adding the percussion to reinforce that. So onto the damage ensemble. With this bit, let's try this. Let's try that out and see how it works. That could work. Just go in to see the quantization. It's over here, right? Just solo the part and take a listen in isolation. It's a bit messy, so I think it's these parts here. Jun. So first off, those are going to be 16ths, or let's say 8th notes. I think there's some double notes around here because there already was a part recorded in. So let's edit out some of those double notes. And then these are going to be triplets. That doesn't sound quite right. There we go. The strength down. So just make sure that the strength is up for the other as well. Cool. So that's and these are a bit late. I think that should be good. Oh, wait. I had to change that back to triplets. That's right. Select those notes. Triplets. Is that right? Ja. It's not quite right. So it's going to be ja. Set the strength in. Okay, so that's got to go there. That's got to go there. Can see more clearly now. You can start seeing more clearly when you zoom up closer and just make sure that everything is sitting on that grid correctly or close as possible, because we still want a bit of the human element in this. So that is going to be like this. Awesome. Now next on the percussion, let's do the action strike hits. That's going to be this. That's going to be cool. That's going to be bum, bum. Okay, so those go out. That's from bar 24. Let's record this in. Just to even that out, we're going to have these as 16ths. And then these, I can already see that's a bit early. So we're going to go to triplets and zoom in slightly. That's going to go in here. And what I actually want to do is I want to copy those notes across and these notes across so that all these hits are playing. Let's check that out. Sounding good. I think something's just a bit early there. That's right. That's right. Okay. And the last thing I think we can try are the timps. And they're going to follow the chord variation as well. And you want them to pitch up. So this is going to be... Yeah, let's check that out. So join the MIDI parts again. Just get rid of that note so it doesn't have a double note there. And let's record this in. And to be safe, let's just check the note data. That's 16ths. And these are 12ths, or otherwise known as triplets. Awesome. And while recording, I just enabled a lower latency mode so that I could record those MIDI notes in without any latency. If we take this off again, it arms the reverbs, and we can hear the more epicness quality of this. And just to give a bit more solidarity between these two parts, let's copy across a crash swell. And also what will be pretty cool is to have some of these low hits that were actually in the beginning. So I think we're going to have that on bar 24 and bar 25. So let's just go into the MIDI there. And these low notes are just going to give a nice low rumble to that little gap section there. So we got this. Awesome. So that's how to create a modulation in your song by shifting it up a few semitones or a few tones and then creating a build-up so you can sort of go from the one section to the next. What works quite nice with this track is a chromatic build-up of notes going into that new modulated key. And listening again through these two different parts, what'll work pretty well is actually to remove the snare in the first part. So it just creates a bit more space when you get into this first chord progression, and then when it modulates up to the second one, you've got that snares. So take a listen here to the first part. And then to the second part with the introduction of the snares in this section. So that snares is just giving a bit more pace. That works pretty well. And another little trick that you might want to try is layering up extra horns on top of your French horns. So here I've got a track with 6 horns and then another track with 12 horns. So you get even more epicness when it jumps up to that new key by adding more horn players to your orchestration. And what I can simply do is just copy that same piece down onto the 12 horns. I could go in and also record in some extra modulation data, but just for demonstration purposes, let's just quickly draw something in. So we're just going to go and draw something in here. So it's slightly different to the other part. And now when you take a listen, here's with just 6 horns. Now the 6 horns plus the 12 horns. So you got 18 horn players. So 6 horns, then 18 horns. So that's really getting epic with adding extra players to the orchestration. So that covers it for how to modulate from one key to the next by jumping up your chord progression by a couple semitones and then creating a build-up. And what worked pretty well in this track was to use a chromatic build-up by just going up chromatically a few notes till you got to that 4th semitone. Now, in the next video, let's take a look at how we can add in a string ostinato with the strings to help increase that tension while it builds up and then goes in to that extra section with the key change.